Chris and I are about 2.5 miles in, about 1,400 feet of climbing so far. Scree in the Alps and the Rockies. At least make it look like we ran. He's definitely a rabbit. I assumed we could run this. You want to add anything?
Yeah.
We're about 1 mile in, more than 700 feet of climbing. Take a look at this. The best seat in the house. Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to Run Real Strong. I'm Reto and I'm here with Chris. We are outside of Big Bear Lake running a portion of the Kodiak 100K course. We're gonna get going and we're gonna head up Sugarloaf Mountain. You can see up there between the trees. Let's get going. Half a mile in and struggling with the altitude. About 7,000 plus feet. It's beautiful out here. We'll keep going. A little rocky, but not bad.
We're about to go up Wild Horse Trail.
We're about 1 mile in, about 400 feet elevation gain. So we start the trail, it's about 7,000 feet, going up to Sugarloaf about 9,800 feet, so close to 3,000 feet of climbing in about 7 miles. So rough calculation, 300 to 400 feet a mile. Chris and I are about 2.5 miles in, about 1,400 feet of climbing so far, and he had the poles out. I decided he was smarter than me, so I broke my poles out. Yeah, definitely technical trail. A lot of rocks and holes and things. So this is almost like scree in the Alps and the Rockies. Definitely not runnable. Yeah, so Chris is saying this is like a riverbed. So it looks like we're topping out somewhere here. Sun's out. Temperature is still comfortable, but getting warmer. Closing in on 2,000 feet. Not quite there yet. A little over 3 miles, so definitely 600 feet a mile. Absolutely stunning landscape here. Let's try to run a little bit. At least make it look like we ran part of it, you know? People are gonna be like, you guys are hiking, that's not running. We're going right here, Chris?
Yeah, we're gonna come up here to Sugarloaf Trail. We're gonna be coming back down. Well, one of these two. I think we're coming back down this way.
For a second, okay, Sugarloaf Trail. Gonna go up Sugarloaf.
Yeah.
And then on Sugarloaf, we're gonna turn around and come back down.
Yeah, we're gonna top out.
Okay,
this is an out and back.
Got it.
And then we're coming back down, and then we'll end up at the truck this way.
Wow! Holy shit!
That's San Bernadino, and what's called
That is effing unreal. Beautiful. OMG. That view alone was worth flying from New York to California. Seriously.
The highest peak in Southern California, San Bernadino. From the front side, it's called Vivian Creek, and it's 20 miles back.
This is just absolutely stunning. Approaching about 3.8 miles, about 2,200 feet. And as you can see from the trail, continues to be very rocky, very technical, using up lots of energy in a climb. First, let me go ahead. Just for filming, he's definitely a rabbit. Definitely a lot of work to do between now and the Kodiak 100 or 50 depending. Yeah, this is no joke. This is steep.
They've done Gorgonio to Mount Whitney. You can see the Eastern Sierra Range from here.
Let's go on the back tie, right? Floral cactus. Back. Yeah, and then just keep following and
Yeah.
sweep over to the 360 sweep. And then we'll keep going. All right, so we're gonna go down and back up. Getting amazing footage. There are a few runnable sections here. Still, the trail's pretty technical, so a lot of wear and tear. And here we go, right? I'm trying to find the trail here. Oh yeah, lots of rocks here. Lots of rocks. Look at this. No joke. Beautiful, but humbling. We just crossed 2,500 feet, and I'm struggling with the altitude coming from Connecticut, a few hundred feet above sea level, so not trained. Our first downhill that is somewhat runnable, although I'll show you in a second. It's extremely rocky. It is runnable. Obviously we're not going very fast, but we're moving. Trying to keep pace with Chris.
And during the winter, they go up and they skin up their backcountry skis to go up to the top of Gorgonio there.
Ski-mo's become a big thing. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, what people do.
Backcountry skiing, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a ski-mo.
Ski-mo. I mean, a lot of the endurance athletes like Kilian Jornet and others during the winter do ski-mo.
Gorgonio, that's the high line, and then that's going to be our peak right there.
That's where we're going. Sugarloaf, right?
Yeah.
This is our last climb to Sugarloaf Peak, and what a climb again. Get us to about 9,800 feet, and you can see how steep it is here. Crazy. Words cannot describe this. Crushes to the top.
You can take a tram up and get up to the 8,000 foot mark, and then hike the 2,200 feet, 2,800 feet up to the peak. It's a very fun hike. And then that's San Gorgonio, the tallest peak in Southern California.
We're coming up on the official top of Sugarloaf Peak, 9,952, and we're a little over 3,000 feet, just shy of 6 miles. Thank you, Chris, for navigating us up here. I would have gotten lost lots of times. So cool, very cool. Quick update. Chris and I turned around at the Sugarloaf Peak. So we're heading back on the same trail we came. Gonna be doing some downhill, hiking, walking, running. We'll see how that goes, right? So Chris is ahead of me, as you can see. There's a little bit of runnable here. Still somewhat rocky, so we'll have to be careful. And gonna be testing my back. For those of you new to the channel, I have a lower back injury, 288 discs, L1, L2, and that has created issues with longer ultras beyond 100K. The 300 miles I finished, that was definitely a challenge. And for mountain races with the downhill running, not the uphill so much, the downhill obviously affects my back. So key reason I DNF'd the Swiss Alpine 68K in 2021 and the Canyons 100 miler about a month and a half ago in Auburn. That's gonna be a great test. Running, walking some of this downhill and seeing how the back holds up. Giving you guys an idea, coming back from Sugarloaf Peak and about 7.5 miles in, This is flat. Look at the elevation profile, look at Strava. I assumed we could run this, and we could run this, but on a 100K or 100 miler, running this is going to take so much wear and tear. And I think this is coming towards the end of the 100K or the 100 miler. Don't assume because the elevation profile of Strava says it's flat that it's actually runnable. Trying to run some of the flats and downhills. They're less rocky. Still not great. Take a look here. All right, let's walk again here. Just absolutely gorgeous out here. First at about 4 or 5 miles to where my car is, which we're using as an aid station. So we should be about mile 14. Probably not able to run the full 5 miles downhill without doing some walking between. Again, trying to take care of my back. 11 miles in. Downhill running. Testing my back.
We'd be running all along these hills. I think they call it Dead Man's Ridge.
Okay, so we're looking at Big Bear Lake. So this 4 to 5 mile downhill road is kicking our asses. Should be easy, just let it roll. But it is so rocky and at times a little steep. It's all about getting out there, figuring it out, problem solving, and training, and also having the right mindset, pushing through, see what we can do. We're gonna keep going. We're less than a mile from the car, and we should be around 14 plus miles. So Chris and I just took a little bit of a break, 15 miles in at his car, back out after the quote-unquote aid station break. First half mile, 200 feet of elevation gain, and it's hot. We're fully exposed, it's in the 80s, and we're above 7,000 feet, so brutal. So here's another example of a relatively flat, nice wide trail that normally would be runnable if it were smooth, but with the rocks and the undulations, it's gonna be tough to run this. So as far as the eye can see, should be runnable if this were smooth. This is rough. Almost 18 miles in, we can see a little bit of a patch of snow up there on the higher elevation, Bear Mountain. It's just absolutely gorgeous here to run.
I think we're dropping into Bear Canyon, but we go through a residential neighborhood first. So we'll do the drop down, and I think that's a little straight across. And then we'll be at Bear Mountain, and then we have the climb out.
Fire road, not as much rocks as we've seen before, not quite so steep in some sections. So this is definitely runnable. Short section here through a residential area, a paved asphalt road. Look at that house, Chris, on the right up there. 19 miles, 3 to go. We're approaching the point where both the 100K course and the 50K course share a common course and a common aid station. I'll show that to you now. So this building straight ahead with that parking lot,
Bear Canyon,
is the Bear Canyon aid station. As mentioned, welcome to Bear Mountain on the left is the entrance, and the welcome to Bear Mountain arch on the right is the exit. So we've just come up from Bear Mountain and we are back on the trail. More beauty up here. Yeah, we're about 21 miles in. Running a single track here back to the car. Yeah, it's nice. So Chris and I are just finishing the last few hundred meters here. Back to the car, we can see the parking lot. And it's been an epic day so far, but we'll do a quick recap once we're at the car. Run done. Chris and I just finished. We ended up doing a little over 23 miles. We'll post it on Strava. We have another day to go tomorrow. We're gonna try to do 19 miles tomorrow. I'm gonna let Chris explain a little bit how this was different from what he expected and definitely what I expected.
So yeah, it was way rockier today, way more technical. So the next half tomorrow is a much easier trail. So it's a much slower trail. I'm thinking what we could practice to get better at it, but it's just a lot of little rocks. Quick feet, but I would have the expectation to be very slow in this section for the vast majority of people.
For me, it was about coming out here and running with Chris. I think we're both going to sign up for the Kodiak by UTMB in October. We'll let you know what we end up signing up for. I think for me, it was also testing my lower back, and that went, better than expected. I was able to do the 23 plus miles today without having a re-inflammation, and yeah. So let's see what tomorrow brings. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning. Chris and I are on day 2 of our Kodiak 100K recon, and we're on a bobsled trail heading up the hill here. What we're going to cover today is about 19 miles, the second half of the 100K course and most of the 50K course. You want to add anything?
No, we're good.
Okay, we're good?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. I can show the course and
Yep, real quick here, just a quick sweep. We're gonna go right up here. We're about 1 mile in, more than 700 feet of climbing. Way to wake up. Chris is running the uphills. That's Big Bear Lake behind us. Here we go. Just keep climbing. The building and sign ahead is the second aid station on the 50K course. Chris informed me that the first aid station is at Big Bear Mountain.
yeah, we hit that yesterday at mile like 20.
Which we did yesterday towards the end of our run.
So this is Snow Summit. We're at the top of Snow Summit.
Okay, from the top of Snow Summit, we can see the San Bernadino Mountain that we saw yesterday. Beautiful. This is breathtaking. Look at this. This is a very runnable downhill section. Smooth as butter compared to yesterday's rocky technical downhills. So Chris and I are enjoying this. Still testing my back. Day 2. So far so good, but early and want to be conservative.
So we come down and we go off of Going Green. This is the mountain bike course, and we go head over the Skyline. Somewhere.
We're going down the mountain bike trail called Going Green, and we literally have to branch off here back onto the Skyline Trail. The mountain bike trail Going Green, still a cut through that Chris explained, and now we're heading back uphill the Skyline. About 3 miles in. And I'm gonna walk here just to enjoy San Bernadino.
Yeah.
San Bernadino Mountains. Chris and I were just saying, this is just beautiful. You can recover, make up a lot of time here. Beautiful pine forest. Yeah, so we're gonna be heading over to those rocks, the landscape. and vistas here are just epic. About 4.5 miles in. About 5 miles in. Yeah, so right past where Chris is standing, there's a sign, and that's the next aid station where he's pointing.
It's mile 13 of the 50K course.
For the 100K?
We probably add 30 to that 43, so about 43. Yeah.
Okay. This is where the aid station is located, and we go in and out, and then continue on Skyline. Just stunning. So my back, not feeling as good as I want it to be at this point. About 7 miles in. I don't want to hold up Chris. Between these rocks, and take a look at this. The best seat in the house. Eight miles in, and feeling my lower back. In pain, but still able to walk without poles. I am using the poles, but that's a test for me. Chris is going ahead. He's been very kind and patient with me, so I appreciate that. 9 miles in, about 2,000 plus feet, and climbing again. Rocky, sandy, beautiful. 10 miles in today, we just came off Skyline onto a fire road. So Skyline crosses the fire road, and we turned left to go down this fire road. And again, if my back wasn't hurting, Chris and I would be bombing this downhill and jumping for joy. So we're continuing to walk because of my lower back on this fire road. It's definitely very runnable, especially compared to yesterday's fire roads that were rocky and some sections steep and technical, and the only thing that's preventing us is me. So, but during a race, this is going to be fast.
We're transitioning from the fire road to this single track. It says "Welcome to South Shore." Last year, this wasn't well marked. Yeah, we transitioned this area. It's a nice, beautiful single track. Here, just us two.
Great going.
And
so we're coming in on what last year was the Grandview.
I believe it was Grandview, yeah.
Grandview aid station, 18 miles in with a 6.5 hour cutoff. 16.5 miles in roughly. Back on the fire road, climbing. We're exposed, hot, dusty. Let's keep on going. So we are approaching the drop on the left down to
Aspen Glen. I think they also call it Mill Creek.
where that sign is, and it's about 2 miles down, single track trail. So we're going to get off these fire roads. 17, almost 18 miles in. Here we go. Through the trees we can see Big Bear Lake. We're on the single track down to Aspen Glen. One last epic view of Big Bear Lake and these gorgeous pine trees. So we are coming in to the parking lot where our cars are parked. End of our run. We're going to be at 20 miles, over 3,000 feet of vert. This is Aspen Glen, and we can see the park and camp facilities here. And Chris mentioned they may make this a crew station for the race, so we'll see once they publish those details. Hey guys, Chris and I are back at the parking lot in Aspen Glen or Mill Creek. 20 miles for the day. It's been epic these 2 days. 23 yesterday, 20 today, 43 for the 2 days. A little slow today, very runnable, but because of my lower back, had to walk a lot of it, and I'm sorry for that, but I think we're gonna do this again and maybe do it in reverse order and change our game plan a little bit. So I appreciate you guys following along. Hopefully this was helpful and useful if you're thinking about running either the 100K or the 50K of the Kodiak by UTMB Ultra in Big Bear, California. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a big like, thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, again, Chris and I plan to do a little bit more of this. And yeah, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.